Hey guys, welcome to Approach the Nerd. It is our Arrowverse weekly wrap up. Guys, I just had my first Moderna shot on Sunday, and this is my first stream since I took that vaccine, and I haven't had any really bad side effects, but I'm tired as hell. To be fair though, I'm an insomniac, so doesn't help, I'm sure. But yes, I did have a chance to watch Supergirl and Stargirl back to back on Tuesday as they were airing, which is not the norm for me. Normally what I do is I watch them on Wednesday morning on DVR. But yeah, so I got a chance to watch them, and oh my gosh, both episodes were freaking cool for different reasons. So let's start with Stargirl. And I do see you in the chat. If you're in here, Kim, how are you? And Eric, my day so far is doing well. I'm tired, but we'll see how that progresses. All right, so Stargirl. So it's 4th of July in Blue Valley, and which we kind of already knew because if we watched the last episode, we saw that basically Courtney was helping Cameron get all of the decorations together for the town. Basically, the beginning of the episode is this episode is actually more focused on Rick and Beth, so it's like a split episode. So like as in last episode was strictly Yolanda, this one is a split between Rick and Beth. So the teacher, Miss Woods, now if you remember her, she's the one that was the complete bitch to Rick and accused him of cheating on his history test in the season premiere of season 2. So she drives out to his house and she's like, I got all this brochures and financial aid information for you to go to college. Because she's figured out that, of course, he's really smart, which of course he's really smart. He's the son of the original Hourman. But so she said something that kind of rubbed me wrong. She's like, here, I'm sorry that I accused you of cheating. And, I had to move and go to college and reinvent myself. And for me, that was like a key into the fact that she probably came from a very poor and possibly abusive background, especially when you see, I think his name is Matt. So Rick's uncle Matt, kind of comes out of nowhere and just scares her. She kind of jumps. So I'm like, I guess what rubbed me wrong about that is if you came from the same background as Rick, why did you accuse him of cheating in the first damn place? Why didn't you just cut him some slack? I don't get that. I'm just throwing it out there. That whole thing was really weird. But again, whatever, I guess people develop prejudices against themselves. But anyway, so she brings him this college brochures and financial aid information. And of course, alcoholic Uncle Matt grabs him and says, you'll go to jail before you go to college. And he just tosses him aside. And I'm like, foreboding what's going to happen. I already knew when he said that something was going to happen. I was like, no. So Rick gets frustrated and he goes off to basically to the woods where Grundy is. And he's like, I give so much of myself and I get nothing back. He is like, I get it. I mean, again, his uncle is trash. His parents are dead. Outside of GSA, really, Rick doesn't have anyone. And which is really sad. And Grundy kind of comes and sits with him. And I'm going to tell you this, of all the times I've been reading Batman comics specifically, seeing Solomon Grundy act like, I don't know, like a pet. He was literally like a puppy. He was like a little attached, loyal puppy to Rick. Really had me in my feelings. I was like, have I been hating Grundy all this time? But he gave him an apple and I was like, oh, And Rick was like, you just need somebody to treat you right, basically. He's like, you've been treated like it, which is true. If you look at the ISA, they treated him, they kept him in a cage. They abused him like an abused animal. So, I mean, I really feel bad about what's happening with Grundy. So yeah, Rick, basically bonds with him a little bit. And as he's leaving, he listens to this news report and then he sees these hunters are coming to take down this bear because they think it's a bear. And we've been hearing this all through season 2. Someone's been stealing food and blah, 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 robbing stores. Of course, Rick freaks out. He's like, they're going to get Grundy. So he's going off to try and find Grundy because he doesn't want them to kill him. So at the same time, Beth is at home trying to get in touch with Dr. Midnight. Dr. Midnight is talking to her, and he's like, he said basically the original Dr. Midnight is like, if you can hear me, it's probably because my goggles over here are connected to your goggles over there. So it's like interesting. I'm trying to figure out how that works. But he said that he actually says he's in the shadow realm, which we already knew. And he says he was trying to say something else. He got kind of cut off. He said something along the lines of they're watching me or they're coming. I need to keep moving. So I don't know who they are in the shadow realm. I have theories, but I don't know who they are in the Arrowverse. So that's interesting. So I need to figure that out. But so Beth was waiting on her parents because actually she wasn't. She was actually trying to hack into something. And the parents came home to have the talk. They were going to have a talk about why they're getting divorced. Well, they start talking like they're still lovey-dovey, and Beth is like smiling. And you look at the parents, and honestly, throughout this whole episode, even with her real parents, when the real parents showed up, I'm trying to figure out why they were getting a divorce because they still act like they are desperately in love with each other. So it's weird. But, they basically said, well, we both decided to just focus on you. And we both work so much, we just lost touch of each other, and it's your fault. So they actually were blaming themselves for being helicopter parents on her. But it really wasn't them. It was actually Eclipso. And this is where it gets really messed up. Little evil Bruce, who you just want to take and give him the best spanking of his life. He is not only taunting Beth, basically saying, you stole these goggles, the staff chose Courtney. Courtney chose Yolanda. Rick's parents chose him. Nobody chose you. And he goes on and he's saying really racist stuff, like you're the wrong gender and the wrong, color. And he keeps talking about you people do this. I mean, he was racist as hell in this episode. I mean, it was a mess. And I love how he was like all on, Beth saying you stole the goggles. And she did go into Courtney's place and the goggles started talking to her and she took them. She did do that. But let's be clear. Is it really stealing from a thief? Because Courtney took her little butt to JSA headquarters with a duffel bag, and was putting all the JSA stuff in her bag and took it to her house and hid it. And had Pat not found it, she would have never been caught. So that's the same thing I said when Jade showed up to get, the battery. He's like, to get the lantern battery. I'm like, you literally can't be stealing something that somebody else stole. Like, this doesn't make sense. But yeah, I'm just throwing that out there. I guess it's re-steal instead of re-gifting, it's re-stealing. But yeah, little Bruce was being an a-hole to Beth. And we all know Beth can't fight. And he even called her out on that. You can't fight, basically he's like, what's good are you or whatever. But I love the fact that she basically said, I choose myself. Nobody has to choose me for Dr. Midnight. I choose to be Dr. Midnight. He could not get her to face a fear. He could not get her to basically do anything. And therefore he couldn't affect her. And when she put the goggles on, he couldn't trick her mind either, because the goggles let her see what was real, which I thought was interesting. So yeah, the whole thing with Beth, that whole confrontation with Beth was pretty cool. So we got to see the strength of her conviction. And she's like, I love being Dr. Midnight and I love being black. I'm like, okay, girl. But I like when she's like, if I'm so scared, why are you the one hiding? I was like, snap. So back to Rick. Rick basically comes across these two hunters that say that Grundy took a little girl and they were trying to find the little girl. So he's like running around thinking, oh no, Grundy's got this little girl. And what actually ends up happening is it's not the little girl. It's actually Dr. Midnighter's daughter, the original that we saw in the premiere episode. But Rick doesn't know what she looks like. So he actually thinks that Grundy drowned this little girl. Grundy's just standing there looking at, this little girl. And then he takes off. Well, he, kind of Rick chases them. He already called Pat and Courtney to come and, help save Grundy. And now they're trying to find Rick, because when Pat pulls the little girl out of the water, she disappears and they realize it was Eclipso. And so he goes back and finds Grundy and starts beating the hell out of him. And then we realize after Courtney had to use the staff to blast Rick, which the staff is pretty weak right now. It only has a few blasts right now. She used the staff to basically, blast him away, because he's not listening to them saying, stop, you don't know what you're doing. Then he looks and he sees it actually was his uncle Matt that he was pounding the hell out of, and his uncle's now in critical condition. Honestly, if Courtney hadn't stopped him, he probably would be dead. What I don't get is why they waited so long. Like, he was literally like taking him and throwing him down like it was Grundy. And poor Grundy sees them take Rick off in the police car, which is pretty much foreboding because Uncle said you'll go to jail before you go to college. So that was a true prophecy. And right before Rick went, he broke the hourglass. So now we got Wildcat, who left her suit in a duffel bag at the beginning of the episode on Courtney's doorstep. And now we have no Hour Man. So Calypso is basically destroying the JSA team. So this episode was amazing. And now poor Courtney. Now we know that Jade's coming back in episode 10. So she's going to help. We also know that Pat and Barbara have been keeping a secret from Courtney, and apparently she's going to find out by episode 9 or 10. So next episode or episode 10. So that's going to be interesting. I still don't know where the hell Starman is. I really feel like it's taking him too damn long to get to Blue Valley. Nobody takes this long, guys. Nobody takes this long. So I am a little confused on where he thinks Pat lives because he should have been there 2 episodes ago. But I digress. But yeah, it was a pretty good episode. There are points with little Bruce as a mother. I just want to take a whole bar of soap. I've never done this to my own daughter, but just take a whole bar of soap and just shove it right in his mouth and be like, please shut your hole. I'm like, just stop. But again, we don't really know if Eclipso is racist. He just plays on everybody's, what they are, who they are. Every weakness he can find, he uses it and exploits it. So yeah, Eclipso is a mess. Eclipso is an effing mess. But I will say, outside of the whole thing with the mother, for the most part, the only other notable thing that I will say that I really liked in this episode, I didn't question, was Mike called Barbara mom. Like, they were waiting for Pat and Courtney to come back, and she's like, Mike's like, well, what do we do? She's like, well, we wait and be there for them when they get back. And he said, well, I'm here for you, mom. And she's like, oh, and I was like, oh, I am so happy he thinks of Barbara as mom and now calls Barbara mom. So that right there. Now some OOC out of character for me. Normally when Beth has an issue, she doesn't go to Courtney's house. She calls Rick. And Rick and her are like the BFFs. They're the closest ones on the team. So the fact that, she didn't call Rick first is very out of character, because you can go back and look at that. I don't get that at all. So like, Courtney is just not who she goes to. Now I can see her going to the house because she wants to talk to, Pat, but she doesn't normally run to Courtney first. She always talks to Rick first. So it's interesting that they didn't communicate at all with each other in the episode where you think they would need each other's support the most. So that was really weird. I don't know what's going on with that. And then on top of that, I just keep going back to the teacher, because the teacher was so bitchy and so she acted so entitled. And then this episode, she's like, well, I reinvented myself and and changed my background from, when I went to college. And I'm like, so you're making it seem like you basically were like Rick. So then why were you not understanding? I don't understand why you just instantly just looked at this kid and said, oh, you're one of them. You must be a cheater when you were one of him. Like, it's just so weird to me. I don't know, guys, but yeah. Yeah. So that was that. So I'm gonna jump right into Supergirl, and then we're gonna I'll look at your post. Let me see who just popped in. Hello, Shippendales. I like that name. And hi, Kevin and D. Marie Porres and Mercenary and Jermaine. How are you? I'm not looking at your questions. I'm just seeing who's in here, and then I will come back. I promise. All right, Supergirl. Supergirl was episode, but let me tell you why I liked this episode. Number one, I got to have more of my Kara and Lena ship, because I can see why people ship them based on the chemistry they have in scenes. I know it sounds weird, but I get it. I see why people think that they should be together. And then number two, Martian Manhunter lost his damn mind, and I loved it. I absolutely loved Martian Manhunter in this freaking episode. It was absolutely amazing. His comedic timing was on point. Like he was like being all motivational in this episode, but it was hilarious. I'm sorry. It was seriously. All right. So basically what was happening is let me turn this off because I don't want to make sure nothing plays in the background. So they're trying to find the gauntlet, or they have they're trying to do a gauntlet. So Kara has to do this thing where she proves herself. And remember, in the last episode, it was determined that they have to pass this gauntlet or bad things were going to happen. And in Kara's case, because Kara likes to act before she thinks, I don't know what that's about, because you read to be fair, she did make Kryptonite X. So Kara does do problematic stuff, and she did date Lex Luthor for a while in the comics. So she does do problematic stuff, but she's not as slow as the Kara that we have right now. So I don't know. I'm on the fence with this, guys, because quite frankly, I kind of feel like the Kara we have now is touched. Is this right to say touched by the Arrowverse? Jesus, touched by the Arrowverse. So anyway, so she's trying to figure out how to pass this gauntlet. And it keeps bringing her back to basically the very first episode, the pilot episode of Supergirl. And so it's when she goes to save Alex, when Alex's plane is crashing. And something in that moment that she does is supposed to help her realize something and supposed to let her pass this gauntlet. Now with Nixley, she also is going through the gauntlet, and we get to see what actually happened, how her, she even told, she told us in previous episodes, but it's better seeing it, how, they were trying to overthrow their dad, and the dad was proud of her younger brother, but basically crucified her, and he made her little brother basically put her in jail and then basically send her to the Phantom Zone or stand trial, whatever. And how she said, I was your best friend, your protector. I would have never done this to you. So you got to see her be vulnerable about the fact that her little brother betrayed her, and she passed the gauntlet because of that. Well, when Kara tried, she keeps saving Alex, and then she never, there's like a part when somebody was asking for help, but she didn't go to them because she didn't want to reveal herself at the time because she wasn't Supergirl at the time. And in this, she does go and save the guy. This guy has another guy against, the fence, and she takes him and she tosses him in the trash can. And for me, I kept thinking, what if that was actually the guy that was being robbed and he overpowered the robber and you just threw the actual victim in the trash can? And maybe that's why you're not passing. Like, because she's being more cocky and it's not vulnerable. She's not being vulnerable in that moment. She's invulnerable in that moment. So we don't really know yet why she didn't pass the gauntlet and why they chose that specific scene, but those are my theories. I don't know. But because this is a test of courage, the totem they have is the courage totem, and it's split into two because Nixley passed hers and the Kara didn't. When Kara tried, everything that happened when the energy was released from the totem basically got worse. So people started getting crazy courage. We had one scientist who wanted to be able to harness lightning, and her partner didn't want her to. And so she goes completely cray with courage, to the point where she starts this huge electric storm that's about to swallow the city, because that is what happens. But the funniest ones for me, the absolute funniest ones for me, were Alex had she basically thought she was she's got that scary, courage where it's not even adrenaline junkie. She has no inhibitions about dying. Like, she has nothing. She literally is jumping in the fire, But Martian Manhunter cracked me the hell up this whole episode, because he is always scared to show emotion and to say, talk about his feelings. And in this one, that's all he did. It was hilarious. He was trying to be motivational, and it was so funny to me. And I'm sorry, Martian Manhunter, I actually wish they let him do this more, because it was just absolutely insane. He would start to say something and people like, no, actually, that's not right. He's like, oh, I retract. It's just like, I don't know. I loved him. I absolutely loved him. Him being goober. It was like he was like that life coach that you didn't think you needed. I'm Like, he was absolutely on crack. Okay, so at the same time, William is still having PTSD over when he was shot by Miss, Tessmacher in the previous season. And Andrea is like, I need you to literally get me some stories of the super friends and blah, blah, blah. And, I need results, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I keep thinking, woman, if they really wanted to talk to this man, they would effing talk to him. It's not like he can go up to their house and be like, hey, you're gonna let me follow you, but he's dealing with a lot. Dreamer tried to help him a little bit in the episode. By the end of it, though, he does come to terms with his PTSD about being shot and decide that he's going to embed himself into Super Friends. And Dreamer's like, that's not what's happening. So we'll see what happens with William, but that's just a little tiny side story. We did see Kelly for 10 minutes, 5 minutes apart in this episode. I told you, if that girl has more coverage in one episode, she's not getting it in the next one. But it was just basically Alex. So guys, tell me if I'm wrong. In every relationship, eventually there's always the dominant and the submissive. And what I mean by that is Alex was acting like a whip bitch. Like, I understand it's sensitive. We're talking about, ethnicity, racial identity, systemic racism, all that stuff. And, her girlfriend's black. She's not. I get it. But like, Alex is like, oh, I need to go to, basically to meet up with everybody because they think they have a hit on Totem and Nixley, but I can go with you. Or do you need, what do you want me to do? I will stand here until you give me instructions, Kelly. I was like, damn. I'm like, okay. Okay. So I will say the whole thing with Kelly and Alex is cute, but I love the fact that right now Alex is whipped by Kelly, and I think it's absolutely effing hilarious. Whatever. Now we did learn that Krypton has covens of witches. That's new. I mean, because Kryptonians normally have an allergy to magic, so you wouldn't think they were practicing magicians technically, or witchcraft basically. But there were, and we had to have that Kryptonian witch because we found out that Lena is a witch because of her mother. She's a charmed one, so might as well be anyway. And the entire episode, Lena is struggling on whether or not she's going to tell them that she's a witch because she's a scientist, so they don't believe in all that. They believe it's a scientific, there's a scientific, reason for all of this. It can be explained, and I'm like, but look at all the people around you. You've literally got a nymph from the fifth dimension. Technically, you've seen two of them. Why are you confused? I'm like, even the scientist has to realize that some things are beyond explanation. But she's the entire, like, literally, I feel like, I think the only reason they brought these witches back, which I think they were, was it season 2? Season 2 or 4, where they actually mentioned when it was Kara's mom talked about the witches. I can't remember. There were witches actually in it, but it's been a minute. I haven't seen it in a while, guys. Like I said, I get my Supergirl seasons all over the place. But I feel like we only saw this witch in this episode because we needed to have Lena see it. Because Lena, of course, went to the Fortress of Solitude with Kara. Because Kara's like, you want to go to the fortress with me? And I'm like, date though. I know, guys. I know they're not going to hook them up, but I really wish they would. I wish in the last episode that was it. They decided to be together. But so they go to the fortress, and then of course, Kryptonian witch. I'm like, yeah, they only had her there because of Lena. Lena had to be the one that, that saw that. So, and even then she didn't say anything, and the witch knew. She's like, I know your secret. I know you're a witch. You're an earth witch. So I think last live stream, somebody said they hoped that it was going to be Lena versus Nixie in the end because earth magic or earth witch versus fifth dimensional, magic basically. And I'm here for that. I think that is actually what's going to help them win is Lena. So yeah, that's going to be a thing. That is going to be like I said, I have no qualms with that. I think that'd be cool. Now when the witch she like literally possessed or took over Brainy's body. That was a mess. Like, are these nipples? Dreamer's like, get this woman out of his body right now. But I don't know, guys. I'm telling you, the highlight for this episode. Every time I think about this episode, I can't help but think, and the witch's name was Vita, by the way, because it popped in my head, that Martian Manhunter stole the show of this episode. I feel like he was just on crack. I mean, I'm telling you, because you're so used to him being so serious and his arms across, and he was just like, hey, just like when Alex went and hit somebody, he's like, that was awesome. Good job. I'm like, okay, I can't. I cannot. But yeah, like I said, overall, not a bad episode. We got to see, of course, Kelly back in her Guardian suit. She was helping Alex, like, because they were trying to figure out how to stop the lightning. And like, actually, she got zapped on the arm, which I was trying to figure out how that happened, because her girlfriend was supposed to be like dodging it and protecting her while she was doing stuff. And like, she got hit like 3 seconds after she said, I got your back. So I don't know. I don't know. But now the problem, though, that when you go through when Nixley went through the whole gauntlet and basically was successful, and they realized they had to let the other piece of the totem go, basically connecting the courage totem. So they have the courage totem now, which, quite frankly, can I just say this on the side? Why in the hell are we just getting this now? This should have been something that happened earlier this season. We should have had one episode of them trying to get her ass out of the damn Phantom Zone, not stretching out for 4 or 5 episodes, and then had this whole totem business like from that. I mean, I feel like it's going to be incredibly rushed now. You know what I mean? Like, it's in every genre where you have to find something, you know, and you have to pull all these pieces together. We've seen it time and time and time again. It is something that is a journey, a quest. There are losses, there are successes, and you finally get put together, and the enemy takes it. Then you got to get back from the enemy, blah, blah, blah. We don't have time for this in this season. We really don't. This season is set to end, I believe, in November, the first week of November. And we're almost tomorrow is October 1st. So we literally have 5 or 6 episodes, I believe, left. What is wrong? I'm like, I really think this was not started and planned out correctly. That's just me. But, you know, whatever. I digress. I just had to put that out there. But Nixley now has PTSD, basically because of the flashback and being vulnerable. Now she's in tremendous pain, and that's the price for having the totems, I guess. That's her emotional sacrifice. And like, her and Kara are mentally connected. So Kara doesn't want to give it up because she wants to have that advantage. And so Nixley can feel everything Kara feels, and Kara can feel everything Nixley feels. So that's also going to be very interesting. And what does this remind you of? Does this not remind you of Harry Potter? Like with Voldemort and Harry and the Horcrux and all the stuff they had to find, and like rushing the ending, and like, you know, I'm like, all right, I see what's happening now. Originality is dead. Just what it is. But yeah, that is Supergirl in a nutshell. If you took nothing else from that episode, though, Martian Manhunter was effing amazing. I mean, he's just effing hilarious. I really hate that he's going back to normal, because he was cracking me the hell up this entire episode. Something was wrong. Just something was wrong. All right, so let me stream up so we can look at questions. Okay. Go to the first one. Okay, Rick's uncle and Yolanda's mom should form their own ISA. Hell, a lot of the parents should form their own ISA. They're bad parents and relatives in this. It's weird. Because remember, Yolanda's parents, her dad is an asshole, and so is her grandmother. If you don't believe me, go back and watch. I think it's episode 2 of season 1. They're horrible. The only good person in her house is her little brother, which is so messed up, because if you've read the comics, Yolanda's mother was awesome. Her mother, the reason that she's even Wildcat, because Ted Grant was her godfather. She was her godfather in Infinity Inc. But when we first saw the backstory for Wildcat, her mother was pregnant, and she was experimented on with, you know, along with a bunch of other people by her gynecologist, who was, I think his name was something like Dr. Love or whatever. I did her spotlight, but it's been a minute. I have to post that so you guys can get her backstory. But she became a metahuman because of a serum he was injecting in the unborn fetuses of all of his female patients that were pregnant. And her parents had gone back to Mexico with her, and then they came back to the States. And then she just basically started getting more feline type, abilities. Hence, she literally became essentially Wildcat. She was Wildcat without the suit in a way. And in this, it's like because her family was very cool in the comics, but in this, it's like they are the biggest a-holes on the planet. I don't get it. It is her whole family. It's her grandmother and it's her parents. It's only her little brother is cool. So I don't know. Think of what you will from that. What do you think of Kelly's version of the Guardian? I actually don't mind Kelly as the Guardian at all. I just think that they should have done that shit way before the last season. Like before the last 7 episodes of the series. But yeah, I don't mind her at all. I do get Anissa lightning vibes from her sometimes. I can't help it. It's the hair, it's the color scheme. I can't help it. From mixed monologue to his Grundy scene, that was in my feelings. Stargirl has really great actors. I'm glad the writers are giving them a chance to shine. I know. I kind of felt like because I thought his actor was a singer. For some reason, I kind of felt like the music playing when he was walking through the woods was his song, like maybe an original song by him. But that actually could be a song. I don't know. I'm old. You never know. Never know. Beth calling Eclipso racist made me LOL. Beth's potential for growth is actually limitless. I feel she has the potential to change the most out of all the JSA members by the time the show ends. Oh, absolutely. She's definitely smarter than all of them, except for Rick. I think they're probably the same. I wanted Beth to smack that little boy. I know, right? Get that fun. Just beat the hell out of him. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, but I love that Eclipso could not do anything to her. I thought that was interesting. I thought Grundy was from Gotham. Yeah, he's a Batman villain. Absolutely. My new favorite character is Cosmo, the Cosmic Staff. Yeah. The staff's always been cool. Season 2 of Stargirl feels like what Flash tried to do and failed in season 7 with its graphic novels. I was bored as I'm watching the Flash, especially the Forces arc, but with Supergirl, I'm entranced. I will say that Supergirl is doing a better job with the totems than the Forces, because the Forces were created by Barry and Iris touching this thing that that linked to the artificial Speed Force, where they somehow had virtual sex and created and gave birth to these forces. It's just really weird. It's not how babies are made, damn it. It's just not. Demon Seed, the movie, doesn't count, if you know what I'm talking about. That's an old 80s movie. That's not what happened. Beth was the MVP for this ep. Yes, she was. Although I gotta give it to Rick, though. Even though Rick was beating what he thought was Grundy's ass. So I was like, I'm here for it. That was a cute moment between Barbara and Mike. I know. It's like, oh, he's like, I'm here for you too, Mom. And she was like, oh, he called me Mom. He accepts me. Oh, we are now the Brady Bunch. I don't think they'll believe that it's actually Starman, given that Calypso can make you see anything. Well, hell, let's be clear here, okay? Beth figured out it was Eclipso almost immediately. When she left and went out, she's like, you're Eclipso. Nobody else really figured it out. It was Eclipso when stuff is happening. They act like it's so delayed with them. They're like, could this be real? I mean, they already saw the kind of power Eclipso has, but none of them put 2 and 2 together. And I understand they're stressed. They have other stuff going on in their minds and in their lives. But I mean, come on. Like, not even entertaining the fact that Eclipso could be messing with your head is weird. So I don't know. But I really do think that's Starman. I think that he's like P-chan from Rama 1/2. He just can't find his way. He went to get milk and was gone in Siberia for 12 years. That man should have been in Blue Valley. Maybe she went to Courtney's house because her phone was busted. But I mean, why can't you just go to Rick's place? Or instead of going to the house, why don't you go to the mechanic shop where Pat normally is 90% of the time? I don't know. It's just weird. What do you think will be the next Wildcat and the next Hourman? Who do I think will be the next Wildcat and the next Hourman? I think Yolanda will be Wildcat and Rick will be Hourman. In the comics, something does happen and he has to source his power a different way. I believe at some point the formula or the serum that Beth creates helps him deal with the fact that his hourglass is poisoning his body and his blood system, which is why, like in the comics, that's why his dad limited exposure, because he figured it was like radiation. In the Arrowverse, they make it feel like his dad limited it to an hour because he was scared that the power would go to your head. So if you cut off the power after 60 minutes, then you're not invulnerable. You're just strong for a little bit of time. So I don't know. It actually, that hourglass has or had limitless potential. But yeah, he smashed it. But let's be clear. Rick is just as smart as his dad. He'll fix it. And I love how they focused on the actual powder and residue from the hourglass. So yeah, something's going to happen with that. The emotional whiplash between last week and this was very jarring. I agree. I absolutely agree. We got a tease for Icicle or Icicle Jr. Yeah, Cameron seems to be freezing the house, freezing them. I'm wondering if he's going to find out that they killed his dad. And Mike's supposedly going to go through some like guilt about it. So I don't know. And we'll see. We will see. Alex lost her mind, which I found funny. Yeah, Alex was like, I can run in fire. I'm good. Don't worry about me. I got it. I'm like, no, you don't. I thought I was going to hate the storyline, but I'm liking what I see so far. I'm actually not disappointed in either of the storylines between Supergirl or Stargirl. The only problem I have with Supergirl is they waited too damn long to progress, and it makes me mad. I'm like, we only have a few episodes left in this series, period. This could have been so epic if they started it earlier. It's just, I don't know. It's upsetting to me. Just very upsetting. Kara and Lena have way more chemistry together than they ever had with their male love interests. I could watch them eat ice cream on a sofa all day and talk about random stuff. That's literally how they ended the episode, right? Pretty much. I don't understand why they don't do it. I don't. There's nothing that says Kryptonians have to be, or heterosexual. They could be on the spectrum, be like Roswell, be like Michael. It's like gender's a concept. Like, well, Barry and Kara have something in common when it comes to thinking. Yes. I will say that Kara is a little bit quicker. Which, what does that say? You're Kryptonian. Why are you not? But then again, if you look at Superman and Lois, he's not the sharpest, pencil in the box either. But Barry is still holding the candle and the MVP status as the slowest thinking person in the Arrowverse. Now that Oliver's dead, I'm like, because it was Oliver, now it's Barry. I don't know why Kara. I guess because Kara did too many crossovers with Barry. Maybe it's contagious. I don't know, guys. Maybe Kara needs the courage to be more Kara and less Supergirl. She needs the drive to be more Kara than Supergirl. Let's see. Dragons and Lightning. Lady Thor and Lady Loki. Why not? John was being so supportive. John was being insane. He reminds me of the guy in the Progressive commercial. Is it Progressive? I don't know. It may not be, or is it Geico? The one where he's like trying to teach how to train people not to be like their parents when they buy houses and stuff. He reminds me of that guy, but a little bit more enthusiastic. But like he was just turn it on. He's like, we need to think of this. She's doing a great job. Actually, no, she's not. You're right. I held that thought. Like what? He just like would turn like that 180. But he would sound so upbeat all of the time. And it was hilarious. I was waiting for him to say stuff like, and so we're all SOL. Let's go die, guys. Oh, he cracked me up. He cracked me the hell up. I could not emotionally handle him. When Brainy was possessed by the witch, I swore for a sec I heard a little Jamaican accent coming through. The Kryptonian witch also reminded me of a female version of Morgan Edge's dad. Shady as hell. I agree with that. She was popping some stuff out. Martian Manhunter was at his best. I really wish I want them to leave him. I want him to be stuck with this problem because he was just funny. I like how he was smiling for no reason. Unrelated, you watched Dino Fury Christmas special? I didn't. If people are uploading it on YouTube, then I'm not watching them on YouTube because they haven't aired over here. So That's probably why you haven't seen me review them, because I don't want to get in trouble for watching them when they haven't been released. I think they've only released the first episode from the next part of the season. So yeah, that would be problematic. The actress who played the witch was totally hamming it up. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Did you see the new Power Rangers Unworthy episode? I did see that. I absolutely love Mari, the Gold Ranger. That whole episode was on point. So yes, I watched it this morning. I thought it was really well done. But I mean, I've been a fan of Unworthy. I actually did an interview with the creator on the channel. And so been a fan of of the series, and I was really looking forward to episode 4. And it did not disappoint. Yes, it was a Quantum Ranger flashback episode. We got to see what Arbinger, can't talk. What happened and how he lost everything. But yeah, like I said, it was a good episode. If you have not checked out Unworthy, Power Rangers Unworthy episode 4, it is, I'll actually have to link it because it has been, I think it's 2 days ago they released it. So pretty good. Yeah, the witches were introduced in season 3. Yes, they were. That you're right. It was season 3. I don't know why I thought it was season 2. I told you my seasons are gone, guys. Like, of course she was. I didn't know Kryptonians were witches until now. Interesting. Yeah, they had their own little power of 3. Lena was in major denial mode. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, I remember the witches. There was 3 of them. Yep. Charmed. Yeah, season 3 literally had evil witches who were a coven, and they created the world killers. Yep. And in this episode, they only brought one of them back to make Lena feel guilty. That's literally why she was there. The anti-monitor exists, and you're having trouble believing in magic. I know, right? Well, I'm wondering if they filled Lena in on all the stuff that happened in Crisis. Vita, the comedian. Also, when they said Cursix, all I could think of is Winx Club. They started sprouting fairy wings, and that would have been great. The world killers. Wow, it's time for Supergirl binge soon. Yeah. Plus, Kara and Nixla have a connection like in Harry Potter. That's exactly what I was thinking. It is absolutely like Harry Potter. Yes, the storyline should have started much earlier. I feel like they would have gotten more out of it, and they'd have more time to get things accomplished. Because we got to find all these, totems. I'm like, okay. First of all, they love using totems. I mean, they already have totems in Legends. So it's like, could you not have found another name, for these things? I don't know. And to be fair, I know within the DC universe, especially the comic universe, there are a lot of totems. I understand that. I guess maybe that's the logic going by, but it would have been cool to have its own name. I don't know. Neither the comedian. Also, I love how Nixla was pissed because Kara was so hopeful. Yeah, she would get mad. You know what I wanted to say to that scene? Well, that's because she's sitting next to Lena. What she should have been like is she feels so horny. I'm angry about it. Also, the actor who plays Brainy has great comedic timing. Yes, he does. He absolutely does. What team? Wildcat, get your head in the game. Okay, High School Musical. Yolanda's mom getting pregnant with a meta. Yolanda do experimentation reminds me of a storyline from CBS Evil TV series. The storyline is so similar and just as creepy as hell. Yeah, so kind of like Evil. I don't know if they experiment on Chicky when she was pregnant with the young daughter who had because I remember the youngest daughter has a medical condition. I think it was a heart problem, whatever. It was something. And I don't know if it came from her being experimented on. Evil is, I love that show, but it's crazy. I was really happy to watch it though, because I like Luke Cage's actor, and I'm like, I'm so glad he's getting work, and he's playing a priest. He's playing a priest in training. But yeah, Yolanda, that whole thing with Yolanda was very interesting in the comics because again, she's a metahuman in the comics. She's not a normal human. Courtney did not choose her. And she was trained by her godfather, the original Wildcat. To be fair, so was Black Canary. But no, people don't talk about that. Like I said, when we watch Arrowverse, you really are missing a lot about, you're missing out on a lot of connections if you've never read the comics. I'm not saying you have to read the comics. It's just that when you see these characters existing in the Arrowverse that seem to have no connection to each other, and they really do. Like, again, Beth and Rick were lovers in the comics. They were boyfriend and girlfriend. So it's just weird. All of it's weird to me. Let's see. Even Mike this episode was like, Eclipso went after Yolanda. It was pretty clear to him. Divide and conquer. Eclipso was going up to Mike next. I love how Mike was like, when Courtney was like, do you think I did something wrong or whatever? And you think I should do this? And Mike's like, no, you need to stay here and then kick Eclipso's ass. I'm like, yes, you do. I'm like, yep. Barry's a CSI. He should be smarter. That's why their cases aren't solved. They're backlogged. Have you seen Squid Game? I've seen the trailer. I haven't seen Squid Game. I mean, Kara and Nixley remind me of Lady Thor and Lady Loki. I can see that. I really do. I can see that. I did watch, what's it called? Midnight Mass. So I'm probably going to talk about that. Midnight Mass was pretty good. I also watched, what was it? Nine Strangers? Something Nine Strangers. Why did it go out of my head? It's a Nicole Kidman series that I was watching. I think I watched it on Hulu, but it might have been on something else. It's pretty good. Kind of messed up. But it's 9 Perfect Strangers. I don't know. I'll have to look at it. I might do an overview of that too. But yeah. I haven't seen Power Rangers since Mighty Morphin. Damn, I'm far behind. Yeah, you're behind. I think the easiest way, but to be fair, Power Rangers Unworthy is a fan series, but really well done with a really good budget. I think the easiest way to do a hit contemporary Power Rangers show is to play on nostalgia and have older actors return. Heck, make Billy return as a gay Blue Ranger. Older queer characters are so rare. I agree, but we finally got a gay Green Ranger in Dino Fury, so there we go. I love how Beth's parents proved themselves not to be total trash this week. Right? They actually came home and were supportive. And I'm like, but in my mind, I was like, this is my once a year conversation with my parents. And I'm like, they will only do this for me once, and then they will go back to their lives. Yay, finally made it to a live of your channel. Thank you, Eric. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I was mad that they didn't test Kara's fear of strength to have her fight and absorb the lightning, because it left me low-key disappointed because she could in the comics. I agree. Yeah. But I will say the one thing I am still loving is the fact that they did not give her instant immunity to magic, because they don't have immunity to magic. And I think if that would have happened, I would have been really PO'd, because again, like I said, Supergirl has always been kind of a mixed bag for me. There are episodes and seasons, honestly, where I'm just like, what the hell is happening? And then there are episodes where I'm like, wow, this is really well done. This episode and the last episode, as far as I'm concerned, were really interesting. And I was very invested in them. I can't say that with every Supergirl episode, to be honest. I just can't. There have been moments in Supergirl that I thought were effing A, like when Lena betrayed Kara and put her in that force field. Was it 2 seasons ago? And you could just see how effed up Kara was over it. She was having a breakdown. And she was like the whole conversation. Again, I know as a queer person, we like to look for representation, and we like to, unfortunately, you're going to do this in every fandom. I don't care if you're straight, gay, whatever. You're going to find a ship that you like, even if they aren't together, and you're just going to let it fly. I was late to the Lena and Kara because I wasn't paying attention. I'm like, I'll be real with you, because I'm also a comic nerd. So I was actually more looking at the comic side. But after that episode where, Lena felt so betrayed that Kara didn't tell her she was Supergirl, and Lex was in her head and all that shit. And so she decided to basically entrap her friend, that whole exchange between them and how hurt they both were. I mean, they were such good actors that there was no way I couldn't ship them after that. I'm like, Kara was so upset. She was more upset than when Monel was leaving, and so which is kind of funny since the actress married him in real life, but I felt like that right there was a turning point for me liking that ship. So yeah, There's things about Supergirl I love. I love Dreamer. I love Brainy. I love Dreamer and Brainy. I wish they actually had more of their relationship, because right now they still feel like they're in their awkward, are we together? Are we not together? After, all the crap that went down mode. I'm like, it's guys, we need to move on because we don't have a lot of episodes left. We need to get this together. So yeah, it's a thing. It is a thing. Let's see here. Trying to make sure I didn't skip something. Sorry. I think I did skip something. I feel like I did. Let me go here now. But when Beth's dad was all like, "It's because of you," I was like, "Damn, tell me how you really feel." Well, when he said that, see, I'm a smart ass. I've been like, "Well, how could you tell, Dad? Your ass is never home." Like, you don't know me. You don't know my struggle. You don't even know what classes I take in school. Hell, do you know the name of my school? Like, yeah, that couldn't be me. As soon as they would have said that's about it's you, I'm like, let me give you a checklist of how that's not true. Like, let me tell you what's really happening in your relationship. They confirmed it in season 2 of Evil that the daughter was altered along with some other kids. The extent of it, however, hasn't been confirmed, but I will say prepare to have your jaw dropped. Wait, did I see season 2? Like, well, damn, I'm going to have to go back and look now because I don't know if I watched season 2. That's a mess. That is a mess. Okay. I learned something new today. I appreciate it. Let's see. I'm also going through really quickly. Yeah, I pretty much think I answered all of them. I'm getting good at scrolling. Like, I'm tired, so you never know. But yeah, so overall, though, my opinion of Stargirl and Supergirl, these episodes were just as engaging as last week's. So now the question is going to be, will next week's episode, based on the trailer, Supergirl looks okay, but not as engaging as the past, this week and last week. Stargirl looks a mess. I need to know what happened with Cameron to attack this family. Or is he actually doing it? It could be Eclipso. This may not even be Icicle Jr. This literally could be Eclipso feeding on their guilt. And that means he's going after Mike, because Mike is the one that killed Eclipso accidentally with the car. So, and that could mess him up. And I'm here for it. Like I said, I look forward to Stargirl every week, because Stargirl has been proving to be the comic horror that I didn't know I needed. So there's nothing to me. There are little moments of cutesiness, but like for the most part, everything is like heightened right now. This whole season is heightened. Like you're like literally on the edge of your seat, and your nerves are just, completely screwed up because you don't know when Eclipso is going to be around the corner. And I love it. I do stand by what I said last week, though. Why in the hell is he wasting his time in Blue Valley? Why are you just out there? Just go to Smallville. Go be like Diggle. Go to all of the Arrowverses and just mess with them and see what happens. Missed opportunity. I know he's on a different Earth. I know this. They're on Earth 2. I get it. But this is Eclipso. Transcend Earths. Go through the multiverse. Go through whatever. Technically not the multiverse, but you know what I mean. I feel like that they could use this character to just mess up. I mean, he really wouldn't do well in the Flash, because the Flash is a Care Bear. So he'd just be like, "For the power of love, you'll never get me." Like, you can't play on Barry's fears, because they've done it in every episode. So at this point, Perry's like, "Really?" I'm like, "You want me to be traumatized again?" I'm like, "Is this the week we're doing this?" So that will not work. But having him like pop into Gotham for a while would be funny. I would like to see how he, Batwoman would handle Eclipso. Could you imagine Eclipso in Gotham? Oh, Lord. Could you imagine Grundy in Batwoman right now? Grundy would kill everybody. They would kill every last one of them. They would all die. All of them. There would be nobody left on the Bat team. So yeah, I guess in a way, it's probably good that Stargirl's Earth is not connected to theirs, because Grundy, Ryan Walder cannot take Grundy at all. Grundy would be like, boop, and then that will be it. Yeah. Though I would love to see what Supergirl would do with Grundy. That would be interesting. Or Superman would do from Superman and Lois. I don't know. The things I would like to see. These are the crossovers I need. Like all these crossovers they're planning are gonna be like whatever. I don't want to say they're gonna be bad. There have been some. I won't say enjoyable. There have been a few crossovers that they've done that were not terrible. But then they did Crisis on Infinite Poop. And so now my threshold of hope for them successfully doing a crossover now is gone. Is absolutely effing gone. And so that is a problem for me. And so I don't know. Like I know Batwoman and The Flash, I think, are doing a crossover. If I'm not mistaken, they were filming it. I don't know. I don't know. I have no faith. I'm trying, guys. I am trying. I try to be that reviewer that tries to stay objective, but Crisis on Infinite Poop pissed me off so bad I had to make a parody. Not my crisis. This is not my crisis. But okay. Ooh. Couple more. One more question. 1 second. Rain should have been killed. One villain to be. Her connection to Kara in the comics is very similar to Edge connect to Clark in season Superman and Lois. Plus, it would have been interesting to see Rain as Supergirl's sister. I would have loved to see that too. I don't know where Rain is. I'm like, they just like the most powerful characters they just get rid of. I don't know what that's like at all. More like Crisis on Infinite crap. Yeah. Well, I actually call it Crisis on Infinite shit. So sis, but I try not to curse too much because the algorithm will flag me in my thing. But yeah, I've made lots and lots of reviews on this. Me and Joe, the Geek Show, are doing a breakdown on everything that went wrong in Crisis. It's all about timing because, he's in Japan and then they had to fly. His wife got stationed in Texas for a few weeks, so they had to move there. So we haven't had a chance to get all of our notes together. We're also doing a new Trash Comics, so that is happening. We just got to get it together. I am doing a Midnight Mass review. I just got to figure out. I'm doing it with one of my voice actors from my motion comic, which, it linked below. Make sure you subscribe because it's coming out next year, Warriors of Sarat, or WOS. But one of my voice actors in it is going to help me review Midnight Mass, the Netflix series from the same creator who did Blythe Manor and The Haunting of Hill House. So we're going to talk about that. But yeah, any charm news? The only thing I heard recently is that January is when it's coming back. I know there are a few shows that are coming back early. I know that Batwoman is coming back. I feel like Legends, they don't get a break. They're coming back. They're already, I already saw the trailer for their season premiere. I think it's October 13th or something like that. I'm like, they don't get a break at Legends of Tomorrow. They're just like, they make them go home for like a week and then they come back right back to work. You work literally 11 months and 3 weeks out of a year. Like, you have 1 week off and that is it. All you do is live and breathe Legends of Tomorrow, because how in the hell they already have a season premiering and I feel like we just saw their season finale is beyond me. But you know what? I digress. Whatever. But I know that's coming. And so we have Legends, we have Batwoman coming in a couple weeks, and then we have I think Nancy Drew's coming back. I don't let me start on that show. There's a few others that are coming back too. So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. The Flash will have a 5-episode crossover even when it starts in October. I'm gonna have to have a panel of people on here with me for a crossover like that, because maybe I'll get blurred without fear, Ernie, to watch it. I don't know though. It's hard getting him to watch Arrowverse now. After Crisis, he was like, "I'm out. I'm done. I'm taking the gloves off." He was calling the cops for character assassination. So, but yeah, I'm gonna see if I can try and get him to do that. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I'm gonna have a few people on here talking about Crisis. I'm sorry, the new crossover. Beth becoming a major character and facing her fears this season is fitting, as Stargirl needs some eyes and ears, but this season, this is light against the dark. It's messed up. It is messed up, and I am here for it. I love it. Crisis had so much potential and went south quick. I know. I was so subscribed when they first started talking about all the people they were bringing back, from the older shows and from DCU to do cameos and whatever. And I'm just like, I can't. I literally can't. They even had freaking Ezra Miller's Flash, which they could have kept because he creeps me out. But meet Barry. Like, the whole thing was so, for me, it was so, like, how do I say this? So, like, the potential is there, and then you're invested in it, and you're just like, oh, I can't wait. And every time news would come out, like, they had Kevin Conroy, my animated Batman voiceover actor, Kevin Conroy, playing Batman. And I'm like, what? If I can't get him in Batman Beyond, this is the next best thing. Cool. Make him Batman. Even that shit was crazy. I'm like, how did you mess that up? I'm like, the only thing I can say about that little piece of poop is that I love the fact that they had Luke Fox, basically playing his comic book, incarnation, because that's how he is in the comics. So I was cool with that. But like, everything else was like, how did you fuck that up so bad? I'm like, how? It's like it almost felt like every piece of dialogue was written by a different actor or a different writer. And I'm like, and none of them talk to each other. And I think that is so weird. So yeah, I had a lot of issues with that. I'm so proud of you. Go, Maria. Congrats on the motion comments. Thank you. I wrote this story 14 years ago. So I'm finally doing it. So I'm excited. I love Beth. She is so funny. Love how she is being herself and embraced it on the last episode. Like I said, I've always loved Dr. Midnight, especially Beth Chapel in the comics, especially, is badass. I love her. And I loved her and Yolanda's friendship, and I loved her and Rick's relationship. I always thought they were very cute together. So I am here for her and Rick to be a couple, but I don't think it will happen. I don't. I really don't. Crisis was good, but it effed up every show on Arrowverse storylines and characters, but I still watch the shows to see if any mention of what happened was rectified. See, I don't think Crisis was good. And I hate to get on that soapbox, guys, because I know we're over an hour, but the main problem I had with Crisis is that the stakes that they set so high made no effing sense. Because if I had the Book of Destiny and I needed to have Paragons, and I was, Lex Luthor has already demonstrated that he could scratch out Kingdom Come Superman and put his own name, and bam, he's a Paragon. Why in the hell do I have to go find Paragons? You spent so much time sending Iris, and Superman and Lois to go find the other Supermans and bring, find the Kingdom Come Superman and, find the Paragons and find Ryan and bring them back. When all you had to do was say, you want to be a Paragon? Sure, you can be this one. You want to be one? Because that is literally how stupid they made it. And then they had these Paragons, and they had this Book of Destiny, and they didn't even have to use it. It was like they're standing on the sideline while Oliver Queen is channeling his Captain Planet and zooms. No, you know what? Make my blood pressure rise. I can't do it. I can't do it. I cannot do it. I cannot. The biggest threat in Crisis on Infinite Earth was effing Bebo. Anti-Monitor was so damn weak, you could shoot him with freaking guns because that's what they were doing. So I cannot. Sorry, Angry Grandma. I say Stanley was like Angry Grandma. I need to get an avatar that just pop up when she pops out. I'm sorry. Crisis on Infinite Earths is basically, to me, the best example of how not to write a crossover, because it was bad. It was pretty bad. Okay. I digress. Guys, it's an hour. I'm going to go because I need to rest up for our 12:30 a.m. L-Word stream tonight. Yes, I do it at 12:30 a.m. because I have a lot of stuff to do, especially this weekend. So to get all my reviews done, I have to do things all over the place at awkward freaking hours. So for those of you who are in there, and I think last week we had over 100 people in that one, I'm like, that's pretty damn cool. But I will be here at 12:30 a.m. I promise I'm going to play catch up on Power Rangers. I know the last episode aired Saturday. I got my first COVID shot on Sunday. Saturday, I had voiceover job, so I couldn't get it done because I was like out of it Sunday and Monday. So, and now my spouse River got the first Moderna yesterday. And God bless River. River's out on a Zoom call right now. I don't know how this is happening because I passed out. So I don't know how River's doing this. And this is just shot 1. So shot 2 is going to be interesting. But I'm very tired. I still feel tired. But I'm here for you guys. I didn't want to be here in the stream, guys, and say, hey, hi, guys. I watched Supergirl and Stargirl. I hope you did too. Put comments below. Bye. That would have been funny. But I am here for it. I am here for you. Please, please, please put your comments below. Also, tell me what you think is going to happen. I really want to know. I want to know what your theories are for the rest of Supergirl and the rest of Stargirl. So let me know in the comments below, and I will see you at the 12:30 stream tonight and the What If episode 8 video with our stream with Groove tomorrow at 7:30. Love you guys. Bye.